Black people, bro, we man. I love y'all from Africa too. I just hate the Africans who act like y'all better than love and like we what you call it. Y'all Africans should have never sold niggas, bro. Bro, you know, people, bro, why you think slavery go good, bro? I'm not mad at slavery, bro, cause white people are enslaving people too. You know what, bro? Black people, bro, we this man. I'ma say that. Ghana need me, I need y'all too.
Look at the color of this.
Stay on the, man, I'm lit.
Look at the color. Look how the computer made this.
Yeah, man, that's all I had to see. That shit, that poor ass hill was all I had to see, bro. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna pop this bitch with my thumb. And I ain't gonna lie though, that bitch tastes good.
It tastes like cotton candy though. It don't taste like berries. It don't taste like raspberries.
That bitch good. That bitch so good, bro. I'm like, damn. I like this gotta be good. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That shit tastes good, bro. It tastes good though. We just know nigga what.
It's Brice Davis on the check-in, and Kodak Black decided to go on Instagram and spew some rhetoric about slavery and how our own people were responsible. And, you know, he sounded pretty upset about it, saying how we was pussy and all that. I think this is a good conversation to bring up because I think a lot of us are unaware of our history because most of us don't really know. So there's just a couple things that I wanted to touch on, me personally, and I'm not claiming to be no scholar or nothing of that nature. But we got to understand too, when we categorize and group each other as Africans and whites or Europeans, we got to have an understanding that back then there was no race or ethnic thing, like in the sense the way that we see it today. You know, there was thousands of African ethnicities, you know what I'm saying? Like you got rival tribes, kingdoms, countries, things like that. So it's not like we were unified as one and we saw each other as one like we do today. I think it's way more nuanced than that, and to just simplify it as saying that we're soft because, you know, we didn't come back. And one, I do believe in the beginning, I don't think that Africans had to sell slaves. Like, I know there's a notion that we were under pressure and we had no choice but to sell slaves because if we didn't, then, you know, we would have been killed. It was only till after slavery had already occurred that it was no longer like an optional thing. Because by then, the white people had brought their diseases, started advancing their weaponry, things of that nature. There were definitely repercussions if you didn't participate in the slave trade. When Africans made deals, we gotta understand their idea of slavery was completely different than white people were doing. For one, we know Africans didn't have race-based slavery. Usually with slavery, you was a indentured servant, which basically meant you wasn't enslaved for life. I'm just saying to be mindful that, you know, slavery in different regions of the world were completely different. You know, there was no lifelong slaves. Like, usually you repaid a debt as a slave, typically. And it's not like we had plantations. And it's not like they knew that they was going to transport the slaves across the ocean either. Like, we just gotta be mindful when we say statements like that, because it comes off like they knew everything that was gonna occur. Now, would that have made a difference? I mean, possibly not, but it's just important to know that it's not like they were completely aware of the conditions that the slaves would be in. And a lot of slaves, from my understanding, were taken in from rival tribes. So yeah, in a way, we did participate in our own downfall. The fact that slavery systems in different continents and countries were all completely different from each other. You know, you might have slaves in America, for instance, African slaves. They might have went through plantations, murdered. They may have had absolutely no freedom. They may have been slaves from the day they was born to the day that they died. They may have been treated beyond horrible. They may have been, you know, exploited their whole life to build up a country that they had no benefit from. Versus slavery over here, where you're just a slave for a couple months, basically like how we have the prison system, like you just earn your freedom back, that kind of thing. So at the end of the day, I'm not mad at what Kodak Black said. I think it is beneficial for us to have this conversation. But if I could go back in time, I'm not thanking a white man for none of this. Like, if I could reverse slavery and all that, I absolutely would. I'm definitely not in the belief that we would have been better off if we never came here, this, that, and the third. A lot of people with that slave mentality think that if we would have stayed in Africa, we would have been miserable and just run around. You ever watch one of those interviewing the tribes and how like anxiety and depression is not really a thing? Like they don't have mental health problems. And you know, we tend to think that the more you get away from nature, the better you are, because it's like, modern technology, we got houses, vehicles, you know, that's cool, but we also gotta be mindful that people that are grounded in nature, they still deal with herbs and medicines like that the natural way. I don't necessarily think that we're better off or they're worse off. I think it's a trade-off. You know, the more technology gets better, the more we separate from nature. But let me know down below what y'all think in the comments, and of course, if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe.